welcome back to Casey Cooks, depending on who you are. My name is Casey, and I teach a cooking class for children ages 5 and up at my local library, and we make things that are like cooking things and non-bake things, and things that children can make with their siblings for their family, or make with their family for their friends, and it's super fun. And Casey Cooks for me started about 4 years ago when I was a college freshman, and I didn't know how to cook anything, and I had to make food for myself, and so I began sort of filming my adventures on Snapchat for my friends to see, and it sort of began as a comedy skit of me trying to make instant rice or pasta sides and ending it with them being crunchy and bad and me still having to eat them because in college you're poor and you have to eat what you make. So it was sort of a comedy skit, and I would post it on Snapchat, and I thought maybe 3 or 4 people would watch it, and I thought it was a one-time thing, but all these people kept messaging me and telling me how funny they thought it was and how great it was and how they were watching it with their roommates and their family and their friends, and people I hadn't spoken to since high school or before that telling me, keep making these are awesome. So I kept making them, and I kept learning how to cook and trying to learn how to cook and trying to fail and learn how to cook, and I started Casey Cooks, and soon enough it got around to my workplace, and my boss said, hey, you're gonna teach a cooking class to kids since you do Casey Cooks, and I agreed to it because I didn't know how to tell her it was a comedy sketch. So a year ago we did 4 back-to-back classes in the winter in December, and we did 20 kids each, ages 5 and up, and we made things like decorated marshmallows and apple donuts, and I tried to make recipes and plan recipes that were sort of half healthy and half not so healthy so that parents wouldn't be so upset with me feeding their child copious amounts of sugar for an hour and then sending them out into the library and into the world. And it was kind of a hit. So last summer we brought it back, and we had again 4 classes, 20 kids each. We made things like veggie biking boats and butterfly snack bags and things that were a little bit craft and a little bit recipe and a little bit more fun, so to engage all of the senses. And it was so popular that my boss suggested that we bring it back for the holidays this fall. So we did pita turkey hands, which is just pita and cream cheese and vegetables for Thanksgiving. This Friday we're doing melting snowman for the holiday, and next Friday we're doing fruit kebabs for the new year, sort of to look like fireworks. So I thought in honor of it being a year of Casey Cooks, which on Friday it will be my 1-year anniversary of the formal Casey Cooks, I'd throw it back and show Instagram an unofficial Casey Cooks. So I used to film these on my Snapchat and they used to be live, but Instagram has this weird rule that you can only film so much on your story at a time. So if you missed a bit on my story, I'm just going to reiterate the recipe and we'll do a Casey Cooks. Today we're making cheesecake dip. So you're going to need a bowl. I would suggest a medium to large bowl with a lid if at all possible. If not, it's okay. You can use tinfoil or saran wrap, but it gets a little messy. You're going to need at least 1 block of cream cheese. I'm going to use 2 because I'm doubling the recipe, but I'll just talk about what you need to do if you're not doubling the recipe. You need confectioner's sugar or powdered sugar. You need brown sugar. You need vanilla extract. You need at least 1 stick of unsalted butter and a mixer. And I think that's it. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna make cheesecake dip. And this is one of my favorite recipes, and I'm so excited to make a mess with you. Oh gosh. Okay, so I melted the butter and I over melted it. And one thing I always say to the kids in my class is that if you're gonna make a mess or a masterpiece, it's completely up to you because you're the chef. And when kids come into my classes, I tell them, this is Casey Cooks because I'm teaching you, but it's also Ariel Cooks and Liam Cooks and whoever you are because you're the chef when you learn as well. So we're gonna take my melty butter. This is supposed to be a stick. I don't know if you can see it. Let's try and focus. Oh god, it's dripping. Yep. This is the point of Casey Cooks. We make a mess and a masterpiece. So I'm gonna take a stick of this and put it into my bowl. And we're gonna leave the rest of this buttery mess for whoever tries to use the butter next. After that, I'm gonna stick my cream cheese into this bowl if I can get it open, which at 22, opening things is still not an exact science. This recipe was inspired by the Philadelphia cream cheese already pre-made cheesecake filling, which I would buy in school all the time. And I saw online once that someone bought them, filled them with cream cheese and other toppings, and sort of used them as a cheesecake dip. And so I began doing the same. And it totally changed my life in college. And then when I was a senior, my roommate started doing it as well, and it became sort of a staple. We just sort of were like, oh, we're having a hard time, it's cheesecake dip time. So when I came home, regionally, Philadelphia cream cheese did not sell my pre-made cheesecake dip filling except at holiday times, so I sort of had to find my own recipe. And I found this recipe, and now I tweak it and I play with it a little myself, and that's where this recipe came from. So it's kind of a Casey Cooks original. It's kind of a tweak of other recipes, but all Casey Cooks recipes are kind of tweak of other recipes. So I will say though that this recipe is for all ages, and if you are a child under the age of 14, I would suggest asking a parent or guardian to help you with the mixer, just because mixers can be a little scary sometimes. At 22, I'm still scared of them, and they can get really powerful and really, really messy. So while it is your choice to make a masterpiece or a mess, maybe ask for help for this one. All right. Now we're gonna mix to oblivion. I like to put a little bit of extra brown sugar in, just because I think it makes it taste a little sweeter than regular sugar. Just gonna make a mess. I think the original recipe calls for a 1/4 cup, but I'm gonna do a 1/2 just because, like I said, I think it makes it taste better. And as far as confectioner sugar goes, it should be about a tablespoon, I think, but I think I usually add about a 1/3 cup, or a little, about half of a 1/3 cup maybe. As far as vanilla goes, it is literally no more than a teaspoon. Like I said, I'm going to add a little bit more because I am doubling the recipe. Hopefully it'll mix a little bit better. Now we're going to go back to mixing and see how it goes. Another thing that I didn't mention you needed, but you might want to use, is a spatula, a rubber spatula, just to fold it in a little. Trying to get the excess off the mixer turners. What are they called? They're not plates. We're gonna do a taste test, but first we're gonna have an intermission, because the best part about Casey Cooks, I like to think, is that I usually like to eat something while I'm cooking, and although this is kind of a one-stop shop for, like, you kind of have the ingredients and then you do it and you're done, I'm still gonna have a snack in the middle. Kind of funny is that I'm having a bit of salad with my cannoli dip. I made this salad last night. It is romaine lettuce, red onions, tomatoes, cucumbers, and mozzarella cheese. A fun thing that I use this honey balsamic, but I like to mix it with ranch. So today I put ranch in a funnel and I put it into the bottle. Yeah, it's actually not too infused with ranch, which sucks because I'm just gonna have to infuse it more with ranch. It's like I put it in the bottle for nothing. And this is our snack while we cook today. After a taste test, I've discovered that it doesn't actually have enough vanilla in it, but I don't want to add too much. So we're just going to kind of sprinkle it in by eyesight. And I don't know what to tell you what that looks like, because my eyesight is going to be a lot different than your eyesight. But I'm going to fold it in this time instead of mixing it. I'm also going to add in, I think, a little bit more brown sugar, even though I added in that massive amount. It just, you don't taste it. Like, you taste this dip and it's almost entirely cream cheese. Which isn't a bad thing if you like cream cheese, but there should be like a little bit more sugar in it and a little bit more flavor in it to lead it to not just being cream cheese. I do think that that was the secret, because now it's thicker. For our final trick, we are going to pour in some chocolate chips. Something about Casey Cooks that you should know is that we don't use any nut products in any of our recipes because I'm allergic to tree nut. If you have nut allergies, don't worry. I think if you're going to use something to dip into this, which you don't have to, you can use a spoon if you want to. I suggest Nilla wafers or graham crackers. I have found that like bits of cookies in here is also very good. My roommate folds peanut butter into hers. Truly, the chocolate chips are definitely like an optional thing. But at the end of it, you have a dip. It looks a little bit like cookie dough, but it doesn't taste like cookie dough, I promise you. And one thing I did at the end, just a little extra touch, is that I sprinkled in a little bit of granulated sugar just to add the sweetness up a little bit. And I'm talking like sprinkled. You do not want to heavy fist this, make it too sweet, because the chocolate chips will also make it sweet. Refrigerate it, eat it at night, eat it during the day, eat it in the afternoon, eat it in your time zone. Dip in, use a spoon, use whatever you want. You can definitely add in things that I didn't list, besides peanut butter, chocolate chips, and cookies. I don't know, people like different things. Make a mess or a masterpiece, make it yourself, make it custom. But yeah, thanks so much for watching Casey Cooks. I literally still have bits of cheesecake on my phone. I'm looking at it as we speak. And happy 1 year of Casey Cooks. Thanks for all your support. And if you have little ones, ages 5 and up, and you're interested in enrolling in one of our classes, we have a couple spaces left for the one this Friday at Ludington Library and next Friday at Ludington Library. You can call the children's room to register. Other than that, thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy your cheesecake dip.